Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today I'm going to be doing another viewer request, cross-stitching the letter S from the Crafter Square kit that I got from the Dollar Tree. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in. And for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. Okay, so you guys, I got a viewer request that is way overdue. I think from now on, in the beginning of these videos, I'm going to throw up my list of things that I have to do. I do have that list up. I don't want anybody to think that I am not doing those things. It takes me forever to get to comments, but I do reply to everyone's messages when I get to it. But this was requested a few months ago. And it came from a kit, Crafter Square kit from the Dollar Tree. Now the funny thing is, at least for my Dollar Trees, and I've said this before, they don't give you everything. If there's something that comes out, you might see one or none. When I was looking for crochet kits, I didn't find much, and then I ended up finding some of this cross-stitching stuff, so I took it because I got the letter M. I wanted the letter M. So there's two sets of this, and the two sets come with certain letters, because I've had viewers ask, hey, how you know, do they have these other letters, because I don't see it on this one. Yes, so I thought the same thing too. Why doesn't this kit, why does it only have certain letters? And then I found another kit that had some other letters as well. So, and I don't even know if I have all the letters of the alphabet, probably not. But anyway, I just happened to have this one. Now, if I didn't have it, you know, of course I would let them know and ask if they can email me or DM me the instructions or the image so that I can do it. Otherwise, it would have to be where I'm looking for it, and that could take a long time. Okay, so let's get this started. I just started dabbling with cross-stitching last year. There is a channel that I watch, well, at the time it was Barbie G222's nails, but now let me just double check that, because her name changed, her channel changed, because she also does cross-stitching, but I know that it's changed. So it's a Barbie Girl Nails 222, but she does cross-stitching as well. So I'm going to do the letter S today. I don't have the materials that comes with the kit, obviously, but I do have my own mesh. And I've counted up the squares that are in here, and I just cut up the mesh that I have. I didn't make it circular. I'm just gonna leave it square like I did. I did another letter prior, and I did the same thing. So rather than black, I'm going to be using this purple. And then I do have a green color and a pink color to do the flower. I don't know whose needle this is. This might have come with the crochet kit for Crafter Square, but I'm going to use this needle. And we are going to start doing this. Now, it's been a hot minute since I've done these, so hopefully I can remember. Now, I think if I remember in the directions, they had you do, I think, I could be 100% wrong, but they had you do 2 strands only from this. So what you would do is each, like this thread, if you can split it to where it's made up of 6 strands, this embroidery floss, and that's typical. So if it's a different brand, more than likely it could be made up of 6 strands as well. So I'm gonna, first of all, I think I should just, yeah, let's make my life easier. Yours will come in a wad. I don't think it comes in the way that I just showed you, because I had to buy my own embroidery floss for this stuff. So I'm going to get enough. I'm going to do the whole thing because I have a bigger size mesh. The mesh that you get in a little circular frame, you know, the mesh holes are a lot smaller, so I can see that 2 strands. When I did mine that came in an actual kit, I used 2, but I said there's enough embroidery floss left to do 3 strands because I felt 2 was a little too thin. But just to show you, it's kind of twisted, this embroidery floss. You can split it open, and then in each strand of embroidery floss, they make it out of 6, if you can see that. So I'm not going to take it apart because I want the whole thing to show in this thicker mesh, because I think when I did the mesh I tried to do the same, either 2 or 3 strands, and it looked silly. So when you do this, actually, I'm not sure, yeah, I'll just show you how I'll do it. So when you thread it up, you want to take both ends and you want to put them together like this. So at the other end you have a loop. Okay, this loop here. Now, so we're going to take these 2 ends and we're going to put this in the eyelet of the needle. Like that. And you don't have to tie a knot, just make sure when you start threading you kind of pinch this part so that nothing comes off the needle. And then what we're going to do is, I like to start on the right side and work my way left, but it looks like we've got this stuff going on, so that might not be the best idea. I guess start left to right. I could start from top to bottom. You want to find a path that's going to be easy to do without having to tie knots, cut pieces, you know, something that's fluid. So maybe I'm going to start here, work my way up, and then work my way across. All right, you might find your own methods, and that's okay. But what I'm going to do, so I counted 40. There's 40 this way, 40 that way. And I think at this point it's just trying to find the middle. And this is the same thing you would do on yours. If you bought the actual kit and you get the circle, you would find the middle as well, because we want to center the letter in your little frame. And I want to center my letter on this square. So knowing that there's 40 blocks, just judging by this like example, this little sliver left, we have 3 here. Well, let's count them. 3, 6, 9, 12. So let's count 6 on each side. 3, 6. It's right there. And you know what? Where's my ruler? Man, it's all the way on the counter. All right. I actually have, and this is perfect. I started using Post-it notes for a crochet kit that I did that had a grid. Now I'm going to use it to do this. So I'm going to count 6 and put my Post-it note to cover the first half. So if this is 3, 6. Right. So this is 20. Now for the middle, I mean, it's 20, but this is circular, so it's good to, it would be easy if it's on a square, but this is in a circle. So, all right, and then I would take Post-it note here, and this one's easy. It's the last row here has 4, so I'm going to put this over half of that. So this is my quadrant, right? So knowing that, you can start counting down here to find where you're going to put your needle in this section. So we have 3, 5, 3, 10, 11. Okay, so at the 12th hole, all right, and from the 12th hole, 3, 5, 6. Okay, 12th hole across, 7th hole up to get to this block here. So I have to do the same with this. So on your circle or mesh, wherever you're doing this, you have to count 12 blocks over, and it could be anywhere. You don't have, you obviously don't know the center, or you could actually, or you should. So let's do 20, 3, 5, 10, 15, and 20. Okay, so we cover 20. Now on the next row up, we're going to count across 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. So here's 12, and then we're going to go up 7. So 3, 6, 7. So we found our first spot. I'm going to come in from underneath and up. Okay, so 12 across, 7 up. Put your needle from the underside up like that, and this cross stitching is what it is. We're going to make X's everywhere. So pull it to where it's not entirely out yet. You can put your finger in the loop just to make sure that you don't accidentally pull it through. But I'm going to go in a diagonal. Now once you commit to a diagonal, that's how you have to be every stitch. So for example, we have to complete a box, and that completes like a cross stitch box. So let me show you. I know it sounds all difficult, but it'll come easier once I explain it. So like I said, we're going to go in a diagonal. So put your needle to the adjacent block that makes the diagonal like this. And while I'm here, and you can kind of see, I'm going to slip my needle through that loop, and that's going to create a nice clean knot, if you will. So pull your thread that way, and I'll show you what happens on the other side. Since we put the needle through that loop, it's actually going to close in and on itself rather than having to tie a knot. So you won't have to see any fringe or knots in the back. Alright, so we did our first diagonal, right? Then to finish it, whether I go in this one or this one, I gotta complete the X. So I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna pull my thread, and then I'm gonna go in a diagonal to the adjacent block here, like that. So we did our first cross stitch block. In this, because we used 4 squares, we used these 4 squares. Okay, like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to shift up a block and do these 4 squares. So we're not necessarily doing all these 4 and then just doing the next 4. You want it to blend. Because if we did it 2 separate 4 square and 2 separate 4 square, they're not going to kind of touch each other. See how there's gaps? If we just did our these entire 4, it's going to be 2 separate dots that are too far away, and that's not going to make a nice S. So we're just going to go 1 square level up. So we're actually just skipping this, and we're going into this next 4 set. Okay, so like I said, we did the diagonal this way. I'm pointing my needle in the direction that I did my diagonal. So since I chose this way, and you don't have to choose this way, you can choose this way. But since I chose this way, every stitch needs to start with this diagonal, because the embroidery floss has some sort of like sheen to it. Some of them are silk, other are polyester. Either way, it has a nice sheen to it. So in the light, and I know it doesn't sound like you would notice, but you will. If you chose to do different directions every other, because you don't really care about that part, when you hold it far away, you'll see that the stitches are different, and it'll make the image not look like it'll look weird. Trust me. So what we have to do is I put my needle here. We know we're going to use these 4 blocks. So we have to make our first stitch a diagonal this way. So what I'm going to do, I just hit the camera, sorry. So what we're going to do is put our needle in this hole, because if we put it in this one, we're just going to undo the stitch we just made here. So go to the adjacent hole that makes the diagonal on the other underside, and we're going to pull this through. So now we can do our first stitch to be in the same direction as the first stitch we made. So if this diagonal is on the other underside of your cross stitch, it has to be the same for every cross stitch you make. So doing that, and then like we did before, we can come in this lower box here and then come up in the diagonal to the adjacent box right over here. Okay, so see, when we just go one level up, we actually have a line now that's connected. If we didn't do that and we did 4 squares here and 4 separate squares here, there would be a gap and it wouldn't be an S. It would just be 2 blocks in space. So after doing this, we now completed 6 squares. So in the world of cross stitch, this will take you forever, but this is a very small frame, so hopefully it doesn't take you too long. I'm actually in the middle of still trying to complete a somewhat large, cross stitch image, and it's taking me forever to finish, but that's how slow this is, you guys. So we skipped this row before, now we're going to skip this row. We're going to work on this set of 4 squares. So you want to keep track of your counts. You might get lost with where you are, but we know that this S end is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blocks up. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you would put it up here. If you're really having difficulty counting and making sure that you have this, I would suggest using like a water marker or something that you can erase later. These kits come with the plastic mesh. A lot of cross-stitching kits are already printed, and you wash that stuff off. So, alright, moving the next level up. Again, our diagonal is in this direction, but I already have yarn here. I don't want to undo that, so I'm going to go to the adjacent box to make the diagonal from underneath, and then we're going to cross it this way to keep the same directional process here, and we're going to go up here and cross it. So as you kind of figure out how this works, it's legit the same thing over and over again until you complete the image. Okay, so at this point now, I'm not going to count block from block because I already lost where I am. I think we skipped these 3 and then we're on this 4, but we know this is 10, so I just got to do this until we hit 10 squares going up. Okay, so just keep following what I'm doing. Rewind the video if you need to. There is a gear button at the corner of the screen. You can speed up or slow down the video as you need in case you're not quite getting the process in the time that I'm doing this at, but again, once you get it, you're really going to get into the mode of this, and sometimes you're in the zone and you don't even want to stop. So let's continue this until I reach 10 blocks. And I like that I'm using this large mesh because I can actually see what I'm doing through it. The canvases, the cloth canvases that you use, you won't be able to see what you're doing. Okay, this is kind of like a slow and steady type deal. We're doing this square by square, row by row. So if this is not the kind of project that you have patience for, this is gonna kill you. Yeah, it's very time consuming. So I'm not sure how long this video will be. In the past I've sped it up, but I realized that, you know, some people need to see the whole thing. So I might split this in a part video. But anyway, so let's just talk a little bit about the list of videos that I have to put out. I'm doing this one because this was requested a while back. In the middle, I was doing the Nightmare Before Christmas. I still am going to finish that. I'm going to start with one of the three, lock, shock, or barrel. So whichever one is next in that book, I'm going to do. I have to do, for the Crafter Square kits, I have the bee next. And then I'm going to be doing the dinosaur after, but that might be a week or two later. I have my Annie's what are those? Block of the Month Club. 6, 9. I was doing the Afghan, but I'm pausing that to start the Moroccan tile, because I know some people have gotten that. And then I have, just trying to remember off the top of my head, I have to finish the Mandalorian. I didn't even finish the Mandalorian. And then that's that whole book. I have the Woobles Care Bears. I'm going to do one of that because there's 3 of them and they're probably the same. Pause a little bit. So I'm at 10 squares. 3, 6, 9, 10. All right, so we finished basically these 2 rows, right? So now we're going to do these rows. This one is a step down. So what I'm going to do is, that means we're going to use this square, this square. Oh, but we have the same thing with up. We're actually going to work here. Sorry. Because like we did here, we went one row up each time. Same vertically, we're going to move over 1 row each time. So this is not going to need a diagonal this way because this steps down, but it will need a diagonal going this way for this part. So put your needle right next door. We just put it into this square. Now it's going to come up from the one right next to it. And we're going to do the diagonal this way, and this is going to finish this 4 set. So we didn't do it this way because it's not a full square. As you see here, if we looked at these 4 squares, there's black here, black here, black here, but this is white, so we leave this bare. All right, now we're going to go down to the next 4 squares, which is all black. So what we're going to do, because we came down here, I'm going to go down to the adjacent block to do the diagonal. Okay, and I'm going to come up here, put the needle in there, Again, same, you want the same direction. You start this way, you always start this way. You start this way, you always start this way. Okay. And then this two rows, let's see how many are we going to expect. So this is one row, this is the other. We have 3, 6, so it's 6 down. So just remember that you just need 6 blocks, and that's how you do it. So you really don't have to read this every single time. You just need to know how many blocks you are making of that row. And there are a million ways to go about this. You don't have to start it the way that I do. And once you become accustomed to cross stitching, you're going to develop your own process. And that's in everything. That's also with the crochet stuff. A lot of people sometimes say, oh, I noticed you did it this way. Do I have to do it that way? Because I've been doing it this way and I never had a problem. And that's the thing. If you do something some way and you never had a problem, then just continue doing it that way. Okay. So I'm at 4 squares now. I don't know, I'm doing this with like the whole strand. We'll find out if I have enough of it. I might have to change colors. 3, 6. Okay, so I completed 6 squares. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so now we have these 3 rows. We're gonna move over and complete this row. So since we're down here, they're all black, so we just have to come up. We're going to be working this row and this row next to it. We're going to come up at the adjacent block to make the diagonal. And let's see, actually, you can come in here and notice the connection, like how we did here. It's a step down. I mean, this necessarily doesn't have to happen. You can be very rigid and make it sharp. I like to blend things. Let me put this back out. So just give me a minute. It's still following, so we're right here, right? These 3 are black, this is white, and this is exactly what we have. We have 3 purple, and we have nothing here. But I just want to make a bridge this way to make a nice smooth transition. So I'm going to come down here at that 3rd block, and I'm going to go in diagonal to the adjacent block up here. See, that way it kind of makes a smoother finish. And we still abided by the rules because, like I said, this is that 3 blocker. I've only put the purple here, here, and here. There's no purple here. Here, here, and here. There's no purple here. All right, now I'm going to continue doing this 4 square. So now I can put my needle in the adjacent block to make the diagonal from the underside. All right, and we're going to go 6 up. Make a diagonal here and the other way. And as you do this, you can kind of see it coming along. I'm really glad that I'm using the whole strand on this instead of the 2 or 3 that I did in the last one. I swear I can't remember what letter it was, but if you go back into, I actually have a cross stitch playlist. You'll see it. I think I did it in blue, and it looked kind of horrible in my opinion because it was puny little strands in this large mesh, so I think it was a little difficult to see. All right, so I think I have my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. I have one more to do. Okay. Ooh. I might definitely end up picking a different color, but at this point, that's okay because I'm only doing this to show what I'm doing. It's not gonna look, you know, all one color, I think, because this is as much purple as I have, and I have to finish the whole S. So we'll see what happens. All right, so we completed these 2 rows and these 2 rows. We're gonna go to this one that's 4 down, but it's level with this. So we're gonna go to the next block to make that diagonal. All right, let's complete our cross stitch this way, and then we just gotta make sure that the next ones we do just only go 4 blocks down. All right. And that's the other thing too. This mesh is so big that the needle just falls straight through it. Comment below, let me know if you've done any of these and if you've ever run out of embroidery floss. I think Crafter's Square is pretty good at giving you enough material for cross stitching. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that left me 2 left. All right, so now we're gonna go, let me actually, like I said, this is the connector up here, this little piece. So I'm gonna go in down here, and I'll show you once I finish this. Do my diagonal this way, and like I said, that section is right here. We have 1, 2, 3 black and 1 nothing. Here we have 1, 2, 3 purple, here nothing. So now for the next one, we're jumping up, and we're only going to have 2 squares. So we're going to count here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to count up 2. 1, 2. I want to put this up here because I want to do my diagonal this way. So that's this section. We have black, 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 nothing. Here, when I skip 2, we're going to have purple, 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 nothing. So let's go up here. We're going to do our diagonal. Okay, and then we're going to do our full block of cross stitch here. So the next square, diagonally to the adjacent square. Then we're going to go in here right next door and do the diagonal this way. Okay, so we have that. All right, so we have this down. Now we're going to do this row, and there's 3. So, and it's straight across. So we're going to go up here and do our diagonal like that. Go in here, or let's go down here. Doesn't matter if you go up or down as long as the diagonal is this way. For me, you know, if you didn't start the way I started, then it's this way. All right, and then we have to go 3, 1, 2, 3. We have one more, so I would go here up at that 3rd one, and we're going to do our diagonal this way. Okay, so we have that. Next row we're going to do is this row here. I'm just going to take a little break that you won't notice. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to add more threading to this. And mind you, I'm not great at this to begin with, so apologies in advance. So we did this, we're gonna do this. So let's go up in here, do our diagonal, come back here, do our downward diagonal, okay. All right, so we have this quadrant done. Wow, you know what? I never separated in quadrants. It feels like it's going by a lot faster than I did. Oh, you know what? There's this piece here. Oh, no. Nope, because it's 3 square in clear. All right. Well, we still have this stuff down here, but I want to make it, you know, fluid. So we're not going to do down here yet. So now I'm going to go take this sticky off. You know what? I'm just going to cover this side. That way, for me at least, I can focus better on just one section at a time. But see how I could try to use up more of this before I switch. Let me try that actually. We're gonna do this row and it's gonna join with the one we just did. So let's try this. I'm gonna try to use it as much as I can until the needle wants to come off. You want to kind of take advantage of the spaces. Now here's the thing. All right, so we know we have to do 3 squares, right? I'm going to do the beginning diagonals first, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to close this thread in the stitching. So don't pull as hard as you were pulling before. Leave the stitches a little loose because we have to put our needle inside the stitches. And I'm actually getting to a point where it doesn't want to go anymore. Okay. So before I do the other way, or let's see. No, I can still, maybe I can do one more, can I? Yeah, I can do one more at least. All right, like I said, just keep doing this kind of loosely, not too loose, but a little loosely so that we have room later. All right, I think that's about it. I'm gonna have to finish this off somehow, but flip your project upside down. What we're gonna do now is you're gonna put this needle through, oh, and I can't. Let me see, let me just go back one stitch then. I made it a little too tight. Okay. So I removed one. Let's slip this back onto the eyelet hole. And I'm going to slip the needle underneath some stitches. And that's going to help you, quote unquote, knot this last piece. So I only have one strand to work with, but that's all right. So you want to take your needle and you want to fish it underneath that. Try to get it all the way underneath. Try not to pierce the threading on that. Okay, and then I'm going to just slip the needle through that stitch. Okay, and that's going to act as your knot. So I slip the needle off, pull this so that it closes in on itself. You can trim it, but that's going to be your knot. All right, now see, like here we only have the beginning stitches of this row. I'm going to go grab some more of this threading. Okay, hopefully I do have enough. So anyway, okay, let's just grab this much for now. I'm going to take one end, then find the other end. I think I grabbed a lot of floss here. Okay, line this up. Get your needle, thread this up. Okay, so knowing that we have to do the finishing diagonal for these stitches, all right, we're gonna stick our needle through the square. Right, again, probably slip your finger through the loop so you don't accidentally pull it all the way out. Okay, then we're going to put our hook into our diagonal, and then also put your needle through the loop. Okay, and then we're going to watch on the other side. It's going to act like its own knot, and make sure that this piece is over it as well. That way it can act as another situation to bind that. I'm going to fold this down. I'm going to just do one more stitch and then cut the excess piece. But yeah, so we finished that stitch. Now we're going to go in here and finish this next one. Okay. So now if you count your stitches here, we have 1, 2, 3. So we have our 3 that we covered. All right, and then we have to do 3 more. So let's move on to the next row. And I just need to do the 1 because I'm going to cut that excess piece. I just wanted to make sure I got this in here. Okay, so once I've got that first 4 square block done, I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to cut this piece a little bit shorter. Okay, so that's how you get more floss in case you finish with the strand that you're using. So I think, guys, moving forward now, I'm just going to do this in silence. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna lapse time it or do real time, but then I'll come back in and I'll show you how to change colors when we get to the flower. But this is what it's looking so far. It looks pretty good. And again, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough, but we'll see what happens. If it's a different color, it's a different color. What can I do? Anyway, I'll do this in silence and I'll jump back in later. Okay, so I finished my S, and this is how it looks. Now it looks funky here because we have to complete the flower, but I think for the most part it's all right. And you can see, like, if you look closely at the stitching, you see that all my stitches go this way, with the exception of, you know, the ones where it's by itself. And this is just to make that line a little bit more smoother and less choppy. But this mesh is so big that no matter what I do, it's going to look very chunky. So now I'm going to remove my post-its. And we are going to focus on, let's do the green, I guess. So I've got my green here. And I'm going to gather some of this up. All right, let me just find the one end. Okay, and then I'm gonna cut this. Okay, and then same thing, we're gonna line up these pieces here and thread our needle. Okay, so now I'm gonna start, I want to do this to where I don't have to cut it. I might try to sneak it through the S, because if you drag it across, you're going to see it through the mesh. So let's start at the top here. Alright, so it's in the 4 block space. So here is my 1, 2, 3, 4 block. You skip a row of 4, and it's right below that, and the second one. So here's the one row we skip down and over 1. So that's where this is here. I am going to do it this way. Let's put it diagonal this way, only because this is going to be like these moments. So it doesn't, we don't have to start this way necessarily. But since that's the only direction we're gonna go for that area, it's okay. Whoops. Alright, and then, so this goes down 3. So now here is where we go back to normal with our stitching. So I'm just gonna come up here, or you know what? Let's come up here. Okay. So this is 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go here, and we're going to do this, then we're going to cross it, okay. So we pretty much have this section down. There's one coming down from that, so from here I'm going to go 1 down. We're going to do our diagonal this way, and it steps. So this is the one that we're doing right now. We can cross it. So we're going to cross it. Okay, so we've done all this, and then there's another step down to that. So I'm gonna go in here, step down. Now I'm just gonna go in 1 block up, because we want to close this because it's all connected. So let's do that. And then it's gonna cross down. So we go back into this step down hole here, and then we're gonna go across like this. So this part is done. I don't know if you noticed, but I did run out of that purple, so this small section is a different purple than this one. Anyway, so now that we're here, like I said, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to try to hide the green. So rather than put it under the whole thread, I'm going to pierce it. So at least have 2 threads in this floss that you can go through. That way you are feeding it through the purple, but it's not going to be all the way in, so hopefully you don't see it on the other side. Okay, and I'm just going to keep doing that, and you will kind of see it, so, but you won't see it as bad if you went through under the whole thing. You could just tie it off and pick up elsewhere where you're supposed to come up, but again, I'm trying to be very lazy about it in the hardest way possible. So I want to take a quick look. Yeah. So you can hardly see it, so that's good. But when we flip it upside down, you can definitely see it. Okay. I'm just going to check where we are. Okay, so we have to have one down here, and that's 1 and 2 up. So here's the 1, here's the 2 up. So we're in this square here. So I'm going to come up here. Okay. Then we're going to cross up. Right, and then we're going to get all into this mess now. Alright, so I'm going to cross up again. So we have 3. So we are right here then. Now we can do this. So let's see. Let's go and do diagonal. And we're going to do another diagonal over to do this little piece. Okay. Then I'm going to do my cross. Okay, so we have this and this. Let's do this one now. So we're gonna, let's see. I'm gonna come up here do this row. Oh no, that one doesn't. Or does it? Yeah, that one is good. Let's see. This one. Go here. Okay, so we have. Let me close this one because this looks not so great. Okay, so we have this, this, and this. We're going to go up one. Right here. So we got this. Let's do the two up here. And then there's one that goes up here. Can cross this. So we have 1, 2, and then let's cross this here. Okay, so we have this, this 2, these 3, and we have these 3, these 2, this. Since I'm right here, I'm gonna try to jump up here. So that will not be this, that will be up here. Okay, and then we can go down here. Go up one. Go here. Down that way. Okay, here. We can connect these two. Here, here, Okay, so I have that. I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to slip this underneath my stitches and try to clear it. Oops. Tighten this up. Let's go. Once I get through that, I'm going to trim this. Then we're going to switch to green. Sorry, pink. So here I have my pink. Now let's flip this over. It's looking a little like something. We're going to grab the pink and we're going to finish this up. So comment below. Let me know what you think about this so far. How far you've gotten. Has it been difficult? Has it been easy? Are there any tricks or tips that you have come up with? Okay. Now let's start the bottom here. So we are going to go here. And then we're going to do our diagonal first. Slip your needle in that loop. It's going to make your knot. Okay. Now we're going to do our cross. Okay. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do my first diagonal. Then we're going to do our second diagonal to make the cross. Okay, then we have to do the same number of rows, so let's do our first diagonal again. And we're going to do that across. I think I have to come back down here to, let me come back down. One, two, three. When I get here, I'm just gonna already do these two. Oh man, I totally messed up. So I'm counting this as a square. Green's already in there. It should have been one up. So, dang. Yeah, try not to do that. Make sure when you put a new color or just work on a new row that there isn't already like yarn, embroidery floss using it. So I'm just gonna go back And I'm gonna fix this. And I would edit this out, I'm not gonna. So you can see like how easy it is kind of to undo it. If you, when you sew, you don't pierce your embroidery floss while you're doing this. If you keep it nice and clean, you should be able to undo the whole thing, essentially. I mean, I could just remove the needle altogether and just keep pulling out the loops. That would be easier, but rather than have to do the eyelet hole, I'm just going to keep my needle on and just reverse all this. But we are almost there. I think when I sit and I do these things straight, you just lose focus maybe, especially if you're deep in the zone and then you start daydreaming about other things. Right now I'm just thinking, man, it's hot, and then also I've got to work on the next stuff that I have to work on right after this. I usually binge film on the weekend, so whatever I don't get to, I don't get to. It's kind of tough doing this, you know, along with the full time. So it's, when you have a lot of projects to do, it gets a little overwhelming as to what you should do first, and then trying to schedule out your time so you can get the most out of the day. Alright, so what I did here is I put it in the green. This is a green box. I should have put it here in the pink one because I was down a row, and when I got to the end of that flower, I noticed that it wasn't lining up. So now that I'm in the right row, I can do this over. Anyway, okay. Right, do the cross. Here and do our first diagonals, the next row. I'm going to do the second diagonal. Okay, then I'm going to do the next row up. First diagonal again. Okay. Then before I do the second diagonals, I do have this piece that I'm going to do. So we're going to come up here and do that. And we're going to do this after we do our second diagonal on this one. Okay. And do my second diagonal down here. Okay. Second diagonal here. Here. Okay, and then there's the jump from here. So we're going to do our first diagonal from here to here. And then I'm going to go in here like this. Okay, so we have our flower. Let's see, I can also do this. Okay, flip this upside down. We just gotta put this somewhere and tighten it up. And I didn't do these loosely, so you're gonna see me struggle a little bit. Realized that after I did that last row there. Okay. I might break this, but that's okay because I have a million of these needles. Alright. I can cut this off. Whew. Okay, you guys. So this is my end result for the letter S. Let me know what you think. Let me know how yours went. I hope you enjoyed this video. So again, I think the next video I'm going to do is hop back over to Nightmare Before Christmas. I am going to try to throw up that list on these crochet videos from now on so you can see the list of what I'm doing. Nightmare Before Christmas. Crafter Square Kit, Annie's Block of the Month Club, Mandalorian, Care Bears. Not necessarily all in that order, but I do have those that I think I'm going to try to get out soon. But it is Sunday, so I don't know how much more I can film before I hit the hay. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.